Well, welcome and good evening, everybody, to another Full Sail University online class. My name is Steve Kane, and once again, I am here with the Audio Workstations class as we jump into our Week 3, Lecture 2, where we start adding instruments and an instrument bed into our final remix project. Got a good crowd tonight. I want to thank Erica, Keith, Kyle, Miles, with special guest Madeline, Teddy, and Trey are all in the house, y'all. Let's get ready to do this thing. It's my favorite lecture of the month as we get these instruments laid down. So, y'all know what to do. Buckle up those seat belts. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. And let's get this party started. Well, as soon as this trumpet player runs out of breath. So anyway, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We're going to have a great show tonight as we get our Week 3, Lecture 2, August the 20th lecture going out. If y'all didn't know, we got a special guest, Madeline, in the house tonight. I don't know if y'all seen those dad joke wars, but I heard that there's one going on. And that Madeline was a fan of the dad jokes and decided that she wanted to have a dad joke war as we went on air. So I said, all right, well, that's fine. As we learn a little bit about this schnizzy wizzy, fire on all cylinders, you know what I'm saying? Put the pedal to the metal, lay that rubber down to the asphalt, and let's get this thing moving. All right, so we're going to the course resources. And that's where you see the Remix Project Guidelines, or as I think is more aptly known as the Remix Project Guidelines. The first one that came in, his wife got really mad at him, but she had no sense of direction, so she just packed up all her stuff and right. Oh my gosh. No, actually, I think I twisted that a little bit. That's all right. All right, so I'm going to counter that with, why do you see high school girls always walking in odd groups of numbers? Because they can't even. All right, so tonight we have left with this in here.
Take me to paradise.
And I think we should remix this a little bit. And we'll put our little. All right, so when we look at this, when we look at our remix project, see, that's what happens when you mix project and remix, you get a premix. When your remix project guidelines, right, and you pop these up. Now, I'm not going to read this to you, but it says, for this project, you're going to be doing, see, that's one of those jokes through repetitivity. See, I figure presidents have made up words. I can make up words too. So we tracked out the rhythm, got our click working on week 1. We laid down our rhythm last week. And now this week we're going to lay down our instrument tracks here, our main bed tracks. Now, the cool thing is I want to talk about the plugins yet once again to remind you that you have to use the plugins that we gave you with this course. Those expand plugins, the air collections, some of those other ones. But you know, I know you got some cool plugins, but you know, you got to use what your instructors have here. So with that being said, please be mindful of that bullet point and Just make sure you use those. Now, the cool thing is we've made it a little bit easier for you. We gave you some chord charts to deal with. Now, can I take for granted that all of you in my classroom right now have taken the theory class, the music theory class? So you've learned about majors and minors. You've learned how to find them on the keyboard, right? All right, so very good. Now, so when we do this, this is what the chord charts are going to help you with, is making it sound good, right? So refer back to your theory class if you need to do that. And we got the score editor that we're going to do that. So, and the cool thing is, too, is if you ever need other musicians that play from a score, they can read the stuff that you've put in there, and now you've got something happening. But so we're basically going to put in a rhythm bed tonight, a bass, a pad, a lead, and a melodic counterpart. So we've got four main musical lines, and then we're going to put some sound effects in here, just kind of glue it all together. And that's what we're going to work on tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to learn a lot. Matter of fact, speaking of learning, did you know that the first French fries weren't actually cooked in France? Yep, they were cooked in Greece. That's right. So, let the learning begin. Hold it, wait a minute. Let the learning begin. All right, so let's do this. Let's take these right here. All of that shouldn't, none of that, just those. All right, so tell you what, why don't I just get all tracks? There we go. All right, so now here's what it sounds like. Here's what we got.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise.
All right, so when you go under the course resources, and sorry, no, when you go under week uno, which is just Spanish for week 1, when you go under the preview, you're going to notice that there are chord charts in your stem selections, right? When you're looking here, down at the bottom, you have stem chord charts, all right? So now I've already downloaded those. And we're doing Take Me to Paradise with the palm trees a swaying. Got you in the air, we got everybody swaying. Take me to stem chord charts. Whoa, whoa, take me. All right, so we're going to open this and see what it has. Palm trees. Got you in the air. All right, so they're doing the little G flat to the A flat to the B flat minor. All right, so I think that is a 6, 7, 1. Let's see if we get any other clues. Yep, so I think we are in just B flat minor, man. All right. So let's go up and we're going to put, let's kind of see where it's going to go. Like, so I think we're going to start at measure 3. Let's start at 3. So let's make that the first intro.
Take me to paradise.
It's a G flat.
Take me to paradise. Paradise.
All right, so let's see what we got between here. There's measure 3, and then this is measure 8, so 5 bars. So I think what we're going to do is that's going to be 4 bars. So I think we go, take me to paradise. So I think we do 1 bar, and then 2 bars. All right. So what we're going to do then is check this out. If we put the key in there, right? So The key is going to be B flat minor. And that's going to start at measure 1 to the end of the session. And that gets all of our sharps and flats going on. So then what we can do with the chords is, because we're like, we want this to sing out and then hit it here. Bom, 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 right? So at measure 4, we want to insert a chord that they said it was G flat. Boom. And then at measure 5. Boom. And that would have been A flat. Boom. And then at 6. Boom. B flat minor. All right, so now here's the cool thing, right? Now you can select from 4 to 8 to 8 for 4 measures. And see, now I can get just that chord track. See how it's highlighted right there? And then I can duplicate that. Boom. And that should work. I think that's what he's doing the whole time. Take me to paradise. All right, so let's do. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit save as before we get too crazy. And so we're going to call this day 3 drums or instruments. Now, one of the things that I like doing before I start tracking instruments is I want to put like a little bit of effects on their vocal. So I'm going to get the vocal tracks up here. And what kind of track do I need to bring back a reverb? Now, I know we would have talked about this last night, and I apologize for not being here last night. I had a little emergency to take care of. But I did get the archive back. So if you've watched the archive, you'll be able to know what kind of track I use to bring back a reverb on. But what would I bring the reverb return back? Starts with an A, and it means an extra track. An aux track, thank you, Ravon. Very nice, right? So we're going to get a couple aux tracks, right? Like track, get a new track, shift command in. And so let's get maybe more than we need. So let's get 4 stereos. I'm going to hit command sideways and aux track. So I hit command down arrow and then hit return for enter. All right, so what I'm going to do here, and while I'm here, I'm going to make this, all of these right here, I'm going to group these just so everything can move together. I'm going to make this the Vox group. Let's name this Vox verb. And then another common effect for a Vox is a delay, a quick little slap back delay or something. All right. So now, just as we learned the other night, or last night, and if you haven't watched that yet, here's what it's going to tell you, is that the only place that you can put a plugin is on an insert. So you put a time-based plugin on the insert of an aux track. You put a dynamic-based plugin like a reverb or like a an EQ or a compressor on the dry track, you put the reverbs and delays on the wet tracks. So I like to let's go ahead and set one verb up. Let's put verb on A. So we'll put this a regular Vox verb. We'll put a little air reverb. There we go. And then for this one on the delay, I'm going to put this on B just so I can keep them separated. I'm going to put my delay. All right. So let's look at this. Let's route our first one to the verb and the second one to the delay.
Take me to paradise. 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 Take me to
And I'm not dialing, I'm not trying to mix right now, I'm just trying to get a sound.
Take me to paradise. 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 Take me to paradise.
All right. So I think that's what, and I like to do that before I really get a whole lot going on in my instrument, right? Because that's going to kind of help me go, you know, creatively where I want to go if I hear a little effects on the voice first. So go ahead and start off by putting little effects on the voice. And then start building up your instrument. So we'll do a save there. Let's go ahead and do a right click since we've added some tracks to our vocals. Let's go ahead and save all that stuff so we can recall them easily. So now let's go back to, you know what? We don't have any here. So let's, I didn't get, oh, we've got one instrument track. Let's go ahead and get more than we need. So let's go Shift Command in. We know we're going to need 4. Let's go ahead and get 6 stereo instrument tracks. Come on. Trying to get all of them down. There we go. All right, so let's take off of these. 3 fingers down. So let's call this the bass. And let's hit enter, and let's get a whole nother thing for the bass. So we'll call these instruments, and this will be number 93. All right. So we are in like Flynn. All right. So, we got a bass coming on. Now, remember, we talked about the MIDI signal flow last week, right? With the audio MIDI setup, right? And you took some pictures of it, right? You sent some things. So, just want to remind you, so I've got my little 610 in here, and I've got my audio box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bass, I'm going to go ahead and put in here. I'm going to go with like an electronic sounding bass, I think. The vacuum. All right, so let's look and see what we've got happening in signal flow. So I record armament. I should see my MIDI coming in here, and then the audio coming back here. All right, now we had a little teach track up here. Let's bring the teach track up here again. Now, last time we brought the teach track up here, we learned about the differences of non-destructive and destructive, about how audio was a little different, right? Here's what I want to show you now. All right, so now we're going to do a loop record, all right? So we're just going to get a little bit here. And we're going to loop both of these, all right? So, and it doesn't matter if it's getting signal or not, it's still going to record. And on the bass, now here's what I want you to notice. When I go into loop record, my MIDI merge goes away, right? So watch what happens as I start recording here. I want you to notice as we look at the teach files. And so teach is going to be starting on number 18, because I've already got teach 17. And then bass hasn't been recorded yet. So I want you to see what happens when we're in loop record. Loop record. All right. So as we come through here, as it starts, what you're going to notice is that it's going to add an audio track no matter what happens, right? An audio clip, right? So it's going to start going teach 18, teach 19, teach 20. Actually, no. It's going to stay on teach 7 and 18, and it's going to add a new clip for every time it repeats. Now, notice this stayed on bass 1 because I haven't given it any new information. Now, when I start playing information, now it'll go up to 2. Now it'll go up to 3. But if I don't play anything when 3 comes around, it's just going to stay on 3, right? But as you're going to notice, the audio track is going to go much higher, all right? So here we go. So now I've got, check this out. So now we had teach 18, right? And that made one big, long recording, right? And it was as long as teach 1 back to back with 2, 3, 4. Those are the individual clips that were made, right? But look down in here on bass. It only made 3 new bass parts. All right? So, give me an LM if that makes sense, that as you loop MIDI, it only adds a clip as you play, right? And then give me an LA if you're cool that when you loop audio, it records no matter if you're singing or not. And that's the big differences of looping with MIDI and audio. All right, very good. Now, the cool thing is like we talked about last time, I think, or maybe we didn't. So let's do this. All right, bye-bye teach track. We don't need you. All right, so let's take a pause for the cause. Any questions about? Give me an NQ if you've got no questions. Give me a question mark if I need to pause for a minute while you type one out. Good, good, good. At least I got 2 people answering me. Everybody else is making a sandwich, I guess. I can't get to the keyboard. My mayonnaise is on my fingers, and I have to wash it off. Did I ever tell you what Forrest Gump's password was? 1, Forrest, 1. Yeah. No worries, Teddy. Reach out to me or whoever your instructor is and let them know. We will get you back on. But then they told him, it's like, sir, you have to have a special character in it. So he says, all right, how about 1, Forrest, 1? Get it? Because I spoke the exclamation point. All right. So let's do this. Let's get our memory locations window up here. No, 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 no. Let's go to our score editor. Because now what I wanted to show you is, look, we've got our chord changes in it, right? So let's go up here real quick. We'll put our name in it. This is Take Me to Paradise, right? Take me to paradise. Composer, we're just going to say remixed by Ice Kane. That'll work. All right. So now look at all that. And so as we look at this, and we're going to start getting our bass on here. All right. So let's do this. Let's get our memory locations. And let's go get from this intro 2. Uh-oh, look at that. That should have been measure 8. Look at that. I wonder why it... Alright, so let's get drums. Measure 1. Measure 2. Or intro 2. And this is where the bad one came up, right? So now I right click. I tell it to forget all this stuff. And just remember the marker. And so now... What? I just changed that. All right, so now I think I finally got it back. And now I want to select from there, good, to there. Oh, look at that. Dang it. All right, right click on this guy. Don't remember any of that stuff. Jeez. Okay, so I think we're finally fixed. And I want to do 8 bars tonight. Oh, look at that. I redid all the all right, so intro in 1 or in 2. Now, it says it is at measure 8, but then chorus 1, so that's going to be at measure 12 is chorus 1. And then measure 16 Measure 16. Sorry, these got a little wacko. Come on. Measure 16. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now, that to that should be 8 bars. There we go. All right, finally. Whew. Sorry about that. These little dots tell you what properties are saved in the memory locations here. All right, so we've got this little loop going on. I've set this as a loop.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise. With the palm trees are sparking. Got you in the air. We got everybody. Take me to. With the boat we out drifting, drifting. And they say how we got to keep our minds drifting, drifting. Take me to paradise. Take me.
You know what? I think it happens twice as fast. All right. So I think what's happening is we've got G flat at 4, and then I think at 4, 3 is where the A flat is. And then I think at 5 is where the B flat minor is. All right, so now if we took 5 to 6, 4 to 6, and duplicated, is still duplicating. I duplicate faster than any duplicator in the whole world. All right. So now we got, yeah, there we go. So now let's get measure 4 through measure, let's do 8 bars. And I'm not real crazy about that bass sound. I like that better. There we go. Let's try it out.
Paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise, paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise, paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise.
All right. So what I'm going to do there, because of loop record, I'm just kind of going and I'm getting all the stuff because I knew I wanted to go and start with the bass 7, right? And you know what? Let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's make it just a big grid. And that way we can put it right at measure 4. Not at measure 5. Come on, measure 4. There we go. And then we can bring in base 6 right behind that. And now I've just created a couple different baselines. Hold it. I said base 6 right behind that. Oh, okay. So I guess base 8, base 9. All right, that'll work. Okay, and sure. All right, good. And let's just kind of get what we got here.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise.
I absolutely hate that, y'all. I can't. Sorry. Let's just. I want to just go start over from scratch. I want to go get. Let's use the expand. You know, heck. Can't find what I'm digging over here. I'm not gonna sweat it. I'll go look for something else. I ain't scared. Did y'all hear about that termite that walked into the bar? It says, "Is the bartender here?" Is the bartender here? Uh-oh. Let's just do 4 to 8. 4 to 8.
Paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise. Paradise.
You know what? No, not digging on that one either. I'll go with that.
Paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise. Paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise. Paradise.
All right. So now let's do the same sort of thing that we just did. So now we could start off, let's get base 12, followed by 14, followed by 13, and then what was 11? You know what? And then we'll just take that one and we'll dupe it. And then we'll take these. And that's 12 bars. Perfectly. Duplicate. Nice.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise, paradise.
Alright, I'm alright with that.
Paradise. Take me to paradise.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the.
Paradise.
Especially when you're here, if you listen to the archive, somebody said that, you know, I'm glad I'm not to hear the only one that struggles with instruments. That's the hardest thing, because until you start hearing them all together, you're not really sure on which exact one you want. So I'll leave that for a bass for right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to shift, and I'm going to consolidate this and turn it all into one. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click up here as well, and now I'm going to right click and commit it down as audio. Remember, do not delete these, right? Hide them and make them inactive. What? All right, so let's do a little cleanup. We want our instruments to, let's go with brown. That's fine. All right. So now let's do a little cleanup. These are going to be our instruments. So we'll reset this one. And now let's go to all tracks. And we will add the bass in there. And it looks like we've got some percussion to add in there as well. Three fingers down. Oops. Oops. Three fingers down. Come on. Come on. Three fingers down. Alright, really? Seriously? Three fingers down? There we go. And now let's get all tracks up. So right click on all tracks. It is not being nice to me. Right click on all tracks. Right click. Oh, look at this. It is being sensitive right now. There we go. All tracks. All right. And now we'll go back to instruments. All right. And now we're going to get another one. And so let's put a pad on here, right? I like the organ because there's so many neat things that we can do with the organ. But actually, you know what? No, I want to do something different tonight. We'll go back to the expand. I'm fine with that. All right, so we're going to do a string pad. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to use loop record in a different way. All right, so we're going to loop the 4 measures starting at 4, and we're going to loop for 4 bars. All right, but here's what we're going to do this time. This time, remember when we went to loop record and it made 4 different parts? What I want to do now check it out. I'm going to go out of loop record. I'm going to go to normal record, and that lets me do a MIDI merge, right? And so now I'm in loop playback, so it's going to keep bringing it on itself. And this is how somebody might record on an MPC, where you record like your kick and snare, and then you overdub your hat and your fills and whatever. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring up, and we're going to make a string pad. And so let's do that. I'm going to start with the bass, and then altos, soprano, and tenor. All right, so that's getting somewhere. I like that, but here's what I did a mistake. Though, check this out. Listen to this. I'm all right. I'm okay. Though, but listen. Uh-oh, can't handle it. Can't handle it. All right, so I got a little bit of notes to fix in there, but then I'm going to show you what the problem was that I wanted to fix, but I was going to fix it electronically. I was going to re-record it, but we'll do it electronically. So I just want to fix some of the notes. All right. So now check that out. So we got that fixed a little bit. But here's the problem with this. Look at this. When we look at the MIDI editor, score editor, MIDI event list, look at all those perfect notes that they're on. I mean, they are perfect, right? Zeros and 480s and 240s. And I didn't even quantize it, right? How did it get so perfect if I didn't even quantize it? Yeah, remember when I was drumming? Now, I don't like this. Now, this is a trick that our alumni Mike Exeter taught me. He's like, you don't strings aren't ever going to be that perfect, right? So check out what I can do. I can take out this and what we call a restore the performance, right? And what I can do is say take away all the timing, right? Actually, restore the timing. And now look at all these imperfected notes. All right, so now I'm just going to move this to measure 4. Come on. Boy, something is up tonight, isn't it? Look at that. It just changed that. Put that at measure 4. Interesting. All right, something weird is happening. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to close this file and open it right back up. I'll be right back. My mic's going to mute out. Yeah, this is weird. See how long it's... Alrighty, folks. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so that's fine. Why did it not move my MIDI clip, but it moved my audio clip? What did I do? And now I'm not going to be able to open this up, I don't think. Yeah. To see what I did. Did I turn some kind of preference off? All right. I am going through my head and So yeah, as far as Gangster's Paradise, it's funny. Um, all right, when I double click, I don't know what I did that has messed. I can do that. The MIDI track is not letting me move it. What did I do to bump that? Um, that is so weird. All right. So let's just try some weird things. All right, let's move it. Let's move it around. It's not going away like that. It is not letting me drag it. Um, there's not a sync button in there. All right, let me just kind of go through. That was the only one that I thought was gonna go, but I don't see that. The grid, right? Let's try it in slip mode. Let's make it inactive. Let's make it active. All right, I'm gonna delete that. That's so weird that they're. What's up with that? Look at that. There's some weird things going on. Look at that. That is so weird. It's on clips, but it's looking like notes. All right, so check this out. 1, 2, 3. Delete. What? Crazy. Crazy. What? Right? And now what you can do is you can take this and you can say, all right, let's go split the notes. And take everything, notes between let's get it up in the MIDI editor so I can see the notes. Come on. All right. So let's have the notes up to 0. So we're going to go Command A, Option Y. So we're going to get notes between C0 and C1. And we are going to split them and put them to a new track. Now we're going to take the lines let's go up to 3. Okay, so now we're going to get everything from C#3 and then cut to a new track. I said all notes between C0 and C#3. There we go. Option Y. 0, C3, boom. Very good. All right. So now the problem was not selecting all the notes. So now I want to get these up to D#4. D#4. So D#4. And then, right? So now check this out. Just like we were able to do with the drums the other night. See, now I've got high string, alto string, tenor string, low string, and bass string. And then just take down Option. I could have done this all at the same time, duh. But then we take the high string, we'll leave that on concert hall. We'll take the alto string and put that on string stack. We'll take the tenors And we'll put those on octave. Let's do string swells. Faster attack. There we go. And then low strings. We'll do the swells. And for bass string, big strings. All right, now we've made a string section.
Take me to paradise.
So to copy the plugin, you just hold Option and you drag it. And now check it out when you look at your score editor. And it all looks nice, huh? So look at that. Holy cow, I got some fixes to do in there. But anyway, so give me a, let's pause for the cause. And let's talk about what we were doing with loop record, with splitting up the parts. The high string could be the melody if you wanted to. Just label it as such, Ravon. All right? And then if you wanted to make that the lead, all right? So then what we could do is maybe we'll take all these strings and we'll make a group out of them. Remember that was up under the track menu. And that way, if you get that, they all go and I could duplicate it, whatever. Cool. All right, so let's save. Let's do another save as, just since we're moving quite along. And let's do instruments lead. Actually, you know what? Before we jump into the lead, let's see what we can do to some of these strings for a second. You can just play with those and see what you think you like. All right, so let's hit save. And you know what? I'm just going to go all the way through real quick. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to double click up here. We got that. So now I'm just going to right click, hold down Shift and Option, and commit everybody at one time. All right, so now we've got all those strings nicely separated. Let's go ahead. Okay, and while I'm here, I'm just going to do a little cleanup. So we're going to add those to the instruments. And then let's get it for all tracks. All right, so looks like that all looks good, and then we'll do a right click on that. Perfect. All right, so we are rocking along then. Let's see what we got. Kind of come up with some inspiration. I should have deleted that string.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise.
See, for having that string as a group right there, it's super easy to edit, super easy to bring them all down at once. All right, so let's go play with, I don't know, maybe an organ for right now. I'll do a little lead organ or something. All right, so I'm going to go get this DB33. Have you ever wondered if you saw a burglary at an Apple store, if you'd be an eyewitness? All right, let's see what we got here. I'm just going to free record it. Oh, but what I do want to do is I want to take off input quantize. I don't want that on anymore. All right, let's see what we got here.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise,
Those strings didn't line up after my copy. Uh-oh. Better fix that. There we go. All right, let's do one more.
take me to paradise. Take me to paradise.
So now check this out. So something like this, we can take that little old organ right there, and now we can actually pump it up a little bit. Now you're probably wondering, like, what are you going to do, pump it up? All right, so check this out. There was a time when I was growing up where the only job that I was allowed to do, other than stay home and clean my horse stalls because we lived on a farm, was get a paid music job. So I found this paid music job at an Episcopalian church. It was pretty cool. Paid $25 for a couple hours of playing, and that was all right for me. Then I saw this job at a black gospel church, and they paid $60 for a Sunday morning. I thought that's a way better deal until I went and I realized what time they actually let church out on Sunday afternoon. It's like I was getting hungry, man. I was like, man, it's 11 o'clock, man. Y'all need to wrap this service up. Time to eat. And they didn't. They kept on going. But one of the things they taught me, their plan is because in the Episcopal Church, we played organ all hands on deck, right? You had your feet playing on the pedals. You had your hands, and then what happened is they were grabbing these drawbars, right? They were grabbing the Leslie cabinets and like, nope, this is how you play. And I was like, all right, let's check it out, right? So to automate these, we need them to be controllers. So we're going to right click, and they're already controller number 10. So I'm just going to tell it forget it, right? Because I don't know where controller number 10 is, honestly, right now. So now let's reassign them. Let's have it learn this controller. Oh, look. There it is right there. What's that one? That's 91. So forget that one. So now this one, same controller. That one and this one. Right? And then we'll make this one. Let's forget that one. And we'll make this one. All right? So now check out what we're able to do. Now I can't do this if I'm going in regular mode. I got to be in MIDI merge mode, right? So now check it out. Watch these drawbars.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise, paradise. Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise where the palm trees are smoking.
And then I just automated it. Watch.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise, paradise.
All right. So now let's fix that sour note. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna hit save now. All right, so let's go put on like a little. We got that for a lead, so we'll do like a counter melody with a piano. All right, so we'll do another instrument here. All right, 3 fingers down. Let's get a piano. All right. So now as we get this up, And we'll go find some cool little piano. Like a nice bright one. Hang on, my sustain pedal's backwards. There we go. All right, let's do it. I had to turn it off and turn it back on. The keyboard. All right, so let's just play the piano some.
Take me to paradise.
That's what I think I want to do it.
Take me to paradise.
Oh, wait a minute. Our MIDI merge is on. Let's turn that off. Now we'll do some damage. Finally.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise.
Whatever. And then we got this. All right, that's a great one. So I was using the, somebody was, Keith asked what I was using the pedals for. I was using the pedal on the right side, which is called the sustain pedal. Some people call it the damper. The sustain pedal adds length to the notes. Listen, this is without the pedal. And here it dies off quick. Now I'm going to hold on. Now I'm going to put the pedal down. So what happens without the pedal, with the pedal. Sorry, I got stuck on that. My fingers got stuck. And then you can go through and you can put some wind behind it, you know, get some nice little blowing breezes and stuff like that. Oh, come on, instrument. Don't hide from me now. Oh, let's see if we can go find some wind. I think the expand has got some wind. Thunder. There we go.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise, Take me to paradise with the palm trees.
All right. So, this is, here's the thing. I never do the same thing 2 months in a row. And I always make it up as I go. And sometimes it sounds wonderful, and sometimes it sounds like tonight. But that way we don't ever get bored and, from doing the same thing. And Lord forbid you come back in this class and you're like, he's doing the same thing again. So, you know what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, I was trying to save some money the other day, it's back to school shopping and stuff like that, and so I ended up buying some shoes from a drug dealer, and I don't know what he laced them with, but dude, I was tripping all day. It's crazy. I'm gonna hit a save real quick. All right, well, let's go look at this because we've been pretty much into music the whole night. So let's go over here and let's look back at these guidelines. So we had the chord chart, then we followed that. We put in our score editor and we put in our information and all that kind of stuff. And then we started doing some bass. Now, the big thing is, if you like want to record in your own bass or something like that, then tell me so I don't look for a MIDI track, right? So, like in your bass track, if this was you, where did the bass go? Bass. Come on. Bass. All right. You could put recorded live with, what do you got? The 18i20 or whatever. And that way I know not to look for a MIDI track. But otherwise, you need to have all your MIDI tracks, just as we were talking about up here, okay? And then lastly, we had 4 instruments tonight after we did our chord chart, and then we did our little atmosphere. Now, let me reiterate, I am not grading objectively whether I like your music. I'm grading, does it follow the chord chart? Right, I give you the chords that works with the songs, and you just put those at the downbeat of the songs, and you can make up your own. I don't care if you change styles. It doesn't have to be a reggae song anymore. You can turn it into classical or jazz or blues or whatever you want. It's really fun. So with this, I just don't want you to beat yourself up, especially if you're like, oh, I can't play more than 2 notes at a time on a piano or whatever. That's fine. This is why this class is here, right? Because you've got your own little spot, you got your own little DAW, and you can stack stuff, you can loop stuff, you can make this as neat as you want to. So I've tried to show you some tricks tonight with the looping and stuff like that to make your world of composition a little bit easier, if you will. But I want to ask my class real quick if we've got any questions for tonight. You still have videos to watch. And remember, you're going to take snapshots of these and send them on in the morning here. But let's see. I'm going to stick around as I always do for questions and such afterwards. If you're watching the archive and you do have a question about it, remember, if something is not making sense, we don't want you to start studying without it making sense. So please make sure that you reach out to your instructor and let them know at what minute and second or hour and minute that you were getting caught up on. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. We're going to have a great rest of the week. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to hearing these as we start mixing these next week. Now, so tomorrow or next week, we do not have a Pro Tools assignment. We're going to start mixing this thing, and then on Tuesday, we'll learn how to turn this in. So I want to thank Jerome, Keith, and Miles for sticking around with me for the long haul. Everybody else, thank you for stopping by. I want to make sure that you have all your questions answered and that you're getting everything moving. So look forward to seeing y'all next week. Have a super weekend. Again, my name is Steve Kane. Stick around after class. As always, peace out.